All right, today I want to talk about the Leelock Anchor System, and no better guys to show me how to do it than Lee and Eric from Leelock Anchors themselves. And they have a couple different systems, so first we want to run down on a couple of the different options we have. So Lee, you want to take it?
Sure. Basically what we have is an anchor can system that can be changed out by simply taking out the 1/2-inch bolt and installing Columbia River nest that holds your Columbia River anchors.
That'd be a rake anchor.
Right, exactly. That is, we use a pin that goes through the anchor, not through the chain. It's much more secure. One of the other options we have that is a bow mount electric trolling motor mount that goes for Minn Kota or motor guide that can be simply changed out just like the nest. And then we have another option, which is a quick release for being able to release from your buoy to fight a fish and then be able to come back to your buoy. We've came out with a step ladder that when you're out motoring around and you nose in on the beach, some bows sit up kind of high and makes it quite difficult for some people to climb up and get in. So what we did was we came up with a step ladder that simply bolts in the same place as the can and allows the person to be able to step up the ladder and into the boat and gain access. And then the ladder folds back and lays flat on the deck.
The nice thing about this ladder is there's a lot of guys that I go fish with that are older guys or got a bad hip or something, and this makes it a lot easier for them to get in and out of the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And what are we talking about? A quick change of about 2 minutes, really? I mean,
yeah.
You just pop the bolt out pretty much is all it is. Pop this out, the pin comes out.
Right.
That slips right back in.
Exactly.
We'll show them that.
Because usually when you're going to have the ladder, it's not necessarily for when you're out and anchoring. It's for when you're just cruising around and you're not going to be using your anchor and maybe just out water skiing or something like that and want to nose in on a beach and have lunch.
Well, the thing here with the can anchor and the rake anchor, you have some special features that make it real easy to operate, but it's a little intimidating if you don't know the tricks.
Absolutely.
So why don't you show us the tricks, how to make this thing operate properly and make it an easy thing, because you can actually do this with one guy by himself and operate this and the boat
exactly.
all together.
Most of the issues that people have with their anchor cans is that they tend to want to stand straight up above them and try to pull them up. Anchor cans work better from pulling and setting out from further back in the boat, where you're not trying to overhand it and create a big problem. And that's the one key feature to the Leelock anchor can is the lock itself. Is because it allows you to release without having to pull it out of a jam cleat or untie it. It's simply feed line out and let go of it. You're not constantly walking back and forth in your boat tying off. It's common physics. It's easier to pull the anchor up using your legs and walking backwards versus trying to overhand it.
Well, why don't we show them how to change this out real quick? And
yeah, let's do that.
And then we'll demonstrate how you drop it.
Right, okay. Basically, now we're going to change the anchor can out and switch over to our Columbia River nest. It's simple. You take out the 1/2-inch bolt, take the can off.
Take your nest out wherever you have it stored. Right in. Use the same 1/2-inch travel pin that you used for the can. Pin it in place. You're good to go.
Yeah, let's put the anchor in.
I don't have my lead rope tied on here right now.
There. Good to go. We're set up to fish the Columbia River, and it's safe to say that we just changed from fishing a smaller river using the anchor can to the Columbia River, most likely before the other guy put his boat in the water. This is the quick release, the optional quick release for being able to release from your buoy when you're anchored on the Columbia River to fight fish. It's a simple install. After your anchor is deployed, using the same pin that we pin the anchor in when we're under travel, your quick release is right there. And then you have a line on the quick release that runs to the back of the boat. And it tips forward. This is what holds your boat when you're anchored. And when you need to release to fight fish, before you can take the step forward, or your friend can take a step forward to release you, you simply pull it like this and it releases your anchor line, and you're now on the float to fight that fish.
There's some more trick features to this anchor right here that I'd like to show them. One is, this is a travel pin, and so if we're gonna go up river and go through some nasty stuff, you just pop the pin in and you don't lose your anchor. Once that's pulled out, this is free and will fall out, but it'll still sit in this nest, and you still can travel fairly well with it without the pin, just sitting in this position.
It's really, one other thing is that it's really quite simple, is that I don't have to pick up the weight of the anchor to put the anchor out. All I have to do is just give it a push. I can also preset it using the slots in the side of the nest to motor into position and simply pop it loose and let the anchor out.
The other thing that's going on here is they have a release here on the chain with zip ties. And so if this hangs the bottom, which is very aggressive, this zip ties will break first, and then the anchor will get pulled from this position and pulled out of the rocks. And so you don't lose your anchor that way, but always remember to keep extra zip ties around, because sometimes the bottom's a little grabby. You pop a zip tie, you just put a new zip tie on, you're rocking. I usually run two. So this is the anchor puller. This is a Columbia buoy system, but this is a trick one, and the reason being is you can feed a rope in this from the side, and you don't have to feed it all the way down the rope. And Eric's going to show you how to do that.
A little lever here that releases the spring inside. Simply release that lever. Snap the line in there. You see,
And that's it.
Works the same way when you want to release it. You don't have to, or remove the line, you don't have to feed it through a tube. You can simply just snap the line off.
And now you got your buoy off your main line. When you have a lot of rope out, you have this system on there. I hook it to a cleat on my side of the line. I run the boat. This gets pulled along the top of the water, and at the same time the anchor gets pulled up through this, sliding through to the boat, and all of a sudden the anchor will hit the bottom of this, the buoy will go underwater. I know the anchor's up. I just retrieve the line, pick the anchor up out of the water because it's floating underneath my buoy. I don't have to, no weight at all. And that's why these are so trick.
Yep.
So Eric's going to demonstrate how we drop this rake anchor with the buoy. So you're on your own, brother.
There we go. Okay, here we're going to show the Columbia River anchor setup. First we're going to release the pin that holds the anchor, pin through the anchor so it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to make it easy to deploy. You can see I'm not having to lift the full weight of the anchor. I just simply slide it out a little bit. Lock a link of the chain in there. It's kind of dangling there. So now I got my anchor set out here. I'm going to motor to the spot where I want to drop it, and then when I get back I'll simply just pull the anchor line, and the anchor automatically deploys itself. I didn't have to go up to the front of the bow and push it out or throw it over. Okay, so now I set my anchor out. I'm feeding my anchor line out. I'm going to go ahead and install my optional quick release in my anchor nest. I'm going to continue feeding all my anchor line out until I get to where I want to set it, and then I'll put my Orville's Easy Pull on with our buoy, and I'll throw it overboard. Continue feeding the line out till I get to where my loop is on the anchor line. Then I'll go ahead and loop it in my quick release, and now we're fishing.